Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's a good time to start. I hope that more people will join us after the lunch break. My name is Tomasz Srebnicki, and I will be moderating this panel. I'm a psychotherapist and supervisor, and I work in Medical University of Warsaw in the Clinic of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, and in CBT Center, so Center for Cognitive and Behavioral Therapy. I want to welcome my respected guests today. Can I have the... Yeah? All right. Sorry. I'm waiting for... I don't want to misspell. No, we don't want... First, I want to welcome my guests and all right, so I want to start with Pritan Ambroase. Sorry if I misspelled your name, it's hard for me.
However you want to.
However, okay, yeah. Okay. Pritan is a film director and works for Hollywood Insider, am I right, Pritan?
I'm the CEO.
Oh, you're the CEO, so he works for himself. And he's a film director and film producer, I understand. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And we also have Jakub Grzebielec with us, Vice President of We Give Wings Foundation for Social Development. Welcome. Nice to see you. You can take a mic if you wish.
Hello, I'm here with my wife. She's the president of the foundation. I'm supporting her, but she's the spiritus movens of all activities and all the programs that we do.
Okay,
welcome.
So warm welcomes to both of you. We have also Joanna Hajduk with us, founder of the Save the Children Foundation. You're not a founder. This is what I see in the screen. I have here written
technical advice.
Yeah. This is what I was told before I saw that. Sorry, a mental health and psychosocial advisor of the foundation. Okay, welcome. We also have Olha Mykytchyn with us, head of the online psychological support team, Voices of Children Charitable Foundation.
Thank you.
Welcome, Olga. Good
That's
to see
true.
you here. Yeah. This is true. Nothing wrong. Okay. And that's it, I think. That's not today, right? This is what they are telling me. That's it. Okay. And last but not least, very respected guest, Olena Nikolaienko, Strategy Director of the Future of Ukraine Foundation, placed placed in 3 countries. Okay, all right. So we want to start this panel with. Thank you. We can see Olena here. I have a screen which tells me things, and sometimes it just comes to slow. Life. Okay, so we want to start with this panel with a trailer of your film. Can we have a look at it? Can we watch it right now?
The music's not on?
There is no sound. Can you help us with the sound, please?
That has sound.
Когда я проснулась после комы, мне было очень страшно. Мама мне рассказала, когда я очнулась, что врачи боролись за мою ножку. И они не смогли. И пришлось ее отрезать.
Коли в таборі були, я думав, що я не повернусь додому. Я тільки бачив, як На ньому мішок був, на голові не дітей. Кроваті, ніякої кроваті не було, спали на матрасах.
Девочка, например, 16 лет, 17 забирали до себе.
Вони до нас відносилися як до звірів, вони нас зачитали людьми.
Пролунали постріли, батько впав, цей солдат почав цілитися в мене.
Вона така, що десь біля ракета пролетіла, вона така біля дому. Мінна пастка може ховатися там, де не очікуєш. Це папа просто так.
Thank you very much. Pritan, can you tell us more about your project and your, well, impressions, if I could name it that way?
Sure. So as you saw, the trailer is Can I Go Home Now? The good news is that after some delays and problems, we've finished the post-production 3 days ago. So the film is now fully complete. We were supposed to do the post-production in Ukraine, but I started receiving too many death threats after Cannes Film Festival, where the trailer was launched. So the British government pretty much told me I'm not allowed to go back to Ukraine for now, for my safety. So I completed the post-production in Poland. The entire post-production team is Polish. The production team is entirely Ukrainian, except myself, the honorary Ukrainian, as a lot of Ukrainians have told me. And why can I go home now? I started helping Ukraine with my foundation, Humans of the World, since the first day of the war, 24th February 2022. I still remember that day. My team arrived, ready to help as humanitarians. A few months later, I noticed, as usual, that the media has forgotten about Ukraine and the children of Ukraine. So what do I do in this instance where the world is forgetting and they need fresh news and the Ukraine news has become old? So a film came into my idea, into my mind, and the first thing when I discussed with my team, they told me, sure, but you can't go to Ukraine. My answer was why, and they said, because you're too sensitive. Usually when a goat falls off a mountain in Afghanistan, I'm crying all the way in England or LA, wherever I am. So you can imagine how sensitive I am. I started the foundation at 18. You know, people that are not sensitive do not start foundations at 18. I was far too sensitive for my age, and even now. But I said, you know, I want to do this, let's see how I feel. I went the first time, I was there for 10 days, met with a lot of children, came back and was in the hospital for 15 days in New York. I couldn't speak, I couldn't talk. I was traumatized. Then I went back again, because I'm crazy like that, and continued with the filming, knowing. But I had, the second time around, I had tools in my armor where I knew how to block any trauma if it got too much. I met with children from all over Ukraine. It was important to me that Can I Go Home Now is the story of Ukrainian children in their own voice. So I was adamant right from the start that I did not want any adults to be a part of it. What I did not know what I was doing was that for the first time in the history of cinema, we are giving children a platform to speak on an adult topic of war. Cut to many, many months later, here we are. The children, this is the hardest project of my life emotionally. I will never make a documentary again. A war documentary is difficult by itself. But a documentary on a live war zone, considering children, is not something I will ever do again. I left Ukraine 2 days before Cannes Film Festival because I had to be there on time in May. And even to this day, when I received the news that one of the cities where my 15 children live has been bombed, my first fear is that one of my kids. So now it has gone from wanting to save the children of Ukraine to save the 15 children that I got close to in Ukraine. So it's become quite selfish. Why did I make the film? For me, it was not just a film, it was a revolution. I wanted to start a revolution. I wanted the revolution to begin with Ukraine. Can I go home now revolution? All children around the world who are currently homeless due to a man-made reason, they are all covered under the Can I Go Home Now revolution. In a few months' time, I'm hoping the film will come to cinemas all over the world. Then I will begin to campaign with it around schools all over the world. How many of you here are Ukrainian? Okay, so quite a bit. One thing I'll say about your people, my people, is that you guys are so resilient. So resilient. You know, I saw missiles heading towards my hotel 3 or 4 times. And I remember watching it, and it hit a hotel next to me, 2 or 3 blocks away from me. And I remember, you know, a few hours later, Ukrainian people would go to business as usual. They would go get their grocery, they would go to school, and they would continue with life. And for that, I must commend each and every one of you, because I know in the UK and the USA, I'm from England, but I lived in America for 15 years because of Hollywood. If we see one missile heading towards us, all of us will jump to the sea and start paddling to anywhere but there. And I know so many of my loved ones in Ukraine now, they don't want to leave the country. I asked some of the children to leave with me, and they said they won't, because their father still lives there. A lot of the wives won't leave because of the fathers. A lot of the mothers and fathers won't leave because of the sons. So, you know, when I left Ukraine, I don't cry in public. I've been a media person since I was 16 years old. So I made a rule to myself, I don't cry in public. And in the privacy of my car, outside of leaving Ukraine with my bodyguards, I wept like a baby. Because I felt this immense sense of guilt that I was leaving my people who had come on this journey with me alone by themselves. So it will be the hardest project of my life. But I hope it's not in vain. I hope people do watch. It is a difficult watch. No one wants to watch children talking about their pain. But we cannot let history repeat. And history is repeating itself. Children are dying again. I will never understand in this world of AI and technology where we have gone so far, so fast in terms of technology and material advancement, but in terms of our emotional, psychological, political development, we're still the same place we were, not just 100 years ago, but 2,000 years ago. We're killing each other for the sake of a little space of land. I hope my film Can I Go Home Now can bring my Ukrainian children back to their domu, domu, something like that. Okay, one of those things. And I really hope children all around the world who are affected by war, man-made reasons, can come back home. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your statement. I hope that film will be shown all around the world and will, again, help adults to understand that victims of war are not the ones who win the war. And children are the mostly I'm most affected by the actions of people who want to hurt others. And when I first heard about a conflict, I watched Ukrainian television, and what struck me most were short materials explaining how to tell a child that the father goes to war. I don't know if you remember that. It was really shocking for me how to say to your son or to your daughter that your father may leave and not to come again or die, and how to explain the reasons for that, how to make it all sound reasonable. I was really shocked by your efforts to explain children the need for that action. And I want to ask you, Olena, about your decisions, the decisions that you made when you first heard about the wars. I'm talking about children when the war started. What did you decide to do as an organization, and what was the main goal? I've never been to war. I hope I will never experience war. So I want to give you the voice, as I think you're on the practical side of that ongoing and unfortunate conflict.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your film. I think this is, really important to show that the feelings, the kids' feelings, it's completely different that everybody adults feels. And we arrived from the war, it was March 16 with my son. We were in with other family to Warsaw, and team of girls like that we met before from business. We create the charity, and one that we understand that we saw a lot of women with kids, and they was frustrated with, everybody remember this in Poland, in everywhere. It was the long lines, people with kids without anything, and they don't know what to do. And it was for our foundation, it was our first project, and one of the main projects that we have for now. It's Children Hub, called Children Hub. And this is a psychological support center for kids, refugee kids. We start from Poland, and in this center, what we understand, we need to create safe place for kids where they can feel safe, like at home, but at the same time they can a little bit relax from the language barrier. And we create a special program that combines like a scientist knowledge from the psychology, psychotherapy, art therapy with the special program for education. And kids can, during the game, during the classes, they works with the trauma, because it was the main things. We saw the kids, they stopped talking, they couldn't sleep. We have like all these trauma things. It was like in our eyes, a lot of these kids. And we create this program, and during 1 year we works with kids. Children Hub in Warsaw works for more than 1.5 years. We have more than 1,000 kids, and we understand that this is not the problem, like not the kids. We start to work with mom, because if kids traumatize, we know that mom traumatized. We help kids here back home, and so the same. And this is like ongoing process. That's why we start to help like a family. We understand it. And now Children Hub back home, back to Ukraine. And we open one more hub for refugee kids with autism spectrum disorder. In Lviv, Levchik Spectrum Hub, and we have these kids because this is a very, very sensitive topic, because kids with autism spectrum disorder, they couldn't leave the country, because for them it's like, was very difficult. All this, that they have this all this, they can stop. That's why we create for them this Levchik Spectrum Hub Lviv, and kids visited like 6 times a week. We offer special classes because they don't have any other time for this for this education, special education, because for correction classes, because for kids with ASD, it's like this window just from 3 to 7 to have the socialization. That's why we understand it, and when we opened this this year in February, we opened this Levchik Spectrum Hub. We know that in Lviv region we have like nearly 200 kids stay in line. Nobody couldn't help them with this because we don't have any free classes from our government for this type of kids, and parents needs to pay for classes, and they lose home, they change the place of life, they have other kids, they don't have work, and it was very difficult for these families. That's why we create this hub, and we for free help these kids, refugee kids, local refugee kids with ASD, and local refugee kids like in Children Hub. That's why we have this like in one family. So, and our next project that we wanted to work, because what our experience show that when we work together with different types of scientists, like I told, like with psychiatrists, psychologists, with art therapists, we can create some special support for these kids. And this experience showed that this special program can be implemented in kindergarten, in schools, and now we work one of this like example. This is a program called APC Emotions. It's for kids, for little kids, to understand what they feel, because kids like at 3 years old, you couldn't understand, like you couldn't explain kid that you're in trauma. Yeah, and sometimes these kids can explain what they feel, and when adult people like family or teachers, tutors, they start to work with this game with kids, kids understand what they feel, and this double down the level of stress. This is very important. And now we create a special program that we wanted to implement in schools and kindergarten. And we look for now for Mykolaiv and Mykolaiv region, for this region. And this is very important for us to share this experience, to show that this works. Because after 1 year result that we have this program in Children Hub, we have research around our families that visited, and it showed that 86% of families, they show that this works. Kids start to feel better, eat better, sleep better, everything was good. That's why I think when we united, when we share our experience between together, we can have a better life for our kids, because the kids is our future.
What you're doing, I think, is really impressive, because it's an ongoing conflict. It's not the end of the conflict. When the conflict ends, we can adopt to an end of the war. You are working in the field. The conflict is still there, and I understand that this trauma has not ended yet.
Exactly. This trauma not ended. Like about this Mykolaiv and Mykolaiv region. For you, just for information, 800 schools works, and kids in this war zone continue to visit these schools. Sometimes the schools without windows, without something, and these kids, they are suffering from trauma, losses, fear, everything, and this is for them, it's like normal life now. They these kids from this film. They talk oh, I heard the missiles like this way or that way, but this is not okay for kids. This is not not okay. And because these kids, like 10 years later, will be adults and they continue to build this country. That's why we need to work with this. That's why we need to use everything that we know, that's something new from all around the world, and to implement, to help these kids, to not just to work with trauma. Yeah, of course, this is very important to work with trauma, because when the kids with trauma, you couldn't learn anything. You couldn't educate these kids. And you need not just continue with education. You need to work with trauma, continue with education, and continue to implement some interest things for these kids. Because the life is not just about the war, yeah, and they need to build the future. They need to think what they wanted to do tomorrow. But sometimes kids in so much fear, they couldn't think about nothing.
Would you agree with the term extreme normality?
This is, we call that in Ukraine now everybody with PTSD. Because sometimes we not to understand that this happens. Yeah. For somebody it's fear, for us you're like, oh my God, this is alarm, close the window. Yeah, it's not normal. We understand, because in the first day, we understand this is a fear, you need to go to the shelter, you need to do this, that, and for everybody it starts to be like this. And that's why we're like, something alarms down, everybody goes for the grocery or something to sit. Because we need to continue our life, because economy needs to work, everybody needs to live, and kids needs to have education and etc. But we need to think about this, because that kids, it's one of our main priority, because this is the next generation. This is the next generation. That's why we need to work with this.
Understand, to build resilience in them, to help them process what is happening to them right now, later in the future, and become happier adults.
And happier
adulthood.
What type of future they could build because from this level of understanding of their life, they could build tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you very much, Olena. Referring to extreme normality, how are you and your organization tries to deal with this ongoing extreme situation?
Hello everyone, my name is Olya, as you mentioned. In our organization, I'm here from the Voices of Children, a charitable foundation. We started our work in 2019, and from the full-scale invasion. We help more than 1,000 children every month. It's mostly psychological or psychosocial help. And in our team we call it war, that phrase work-life balance. And in Ukraine people have work-life balance or war-work balance. That's the reality we live in. And we know that sometimes as a psychological organization we remember that we need also take care about ourselves. Yes, but mostly we speak about this reality that it's not okay and for children. And about our work, as I just want to say thank you for the film. I had a crucial experience because we just finished our art therapy course. It's an art course with a psychological component because a famous movie director, Ukrainian, worked with a psychological from our foundation. And we just finished it, and we also, in the beginning of the course, we had a short film made by kids, originally made by a professional film crew, but the scripts is from kids, the idea is the kids, the main source is by kids. And we provided this course 3 months, and then in the finish of this course, we're speaking just in the middle of conversation with kids, we asked, what are you dreaming for now? Because this reality, the war reality, takes all the dream. And in our online psychological help, we received a lot of rejects from the children. And I really remember, I think for all my life, I remember the reject from the one boy, 10 years old boy, and he wrote wrote like, I forgot how to dream. And you know, it's a problem for kids. Yes, because they forgot how to dream, and all the dreams are postponed to the time before the war. And we just had like a small talk with the children from this course. It was a course storytelling and script writing for the film. Yeah, course with art therapy elements, like psychological components. And children said like, you know, I'm just sometimes dreaming like, oh, we have a lot of scripting, and maybe some days we will shoot a film or we'll make a film. And then in our foundation, we said like, okay, we have like an opportunity to give this, and we said like, okay, you have 2 weeks, and we go to mountains and to have like a laboratory and trying to make a film. It was not about the result, but about the process. So I understand you in this way. And I feel like this theme is so crucial for us because we really see the children in the film, and it's not about when they speak about themselves, it's not about feeling pity about children, and you see also like a vulnerable things, but it's about strange things. Yes, so when you see these children, how they go through this reality, and children from our course, like, it's a different stories. Like someone loses his home, someone moved to Kyiv, for example, in 2014 because they live in the Donetsk region, yes, and your father lives there because there's your home. Someone loses his parents, someone live in Lviv, and all this time from the full-scale invasion feeling guilty because you're in a safe place. But in that moment, in that mountains, when we shooting the film, and they said what they want to say, and it was all about strange, that you're vulnerable, but it's your way to be strong, yes. So you can do anything except this reality as your reality and your call to action. So for us, as you can see here, and the main idea of our foundation, that we were all, like we were children, every one of us, we also lost something in that moment, but we need to see the children and understand how to deal with this reality like these children. Be strong and be truly in all this stuff. Yes.
Well, I understand that rebuilding reality also places a lot of demand on us, because we have to come up with different terms, with different ideas, and become different caregivers. I understand that the quality of caregiving has to change and adopt to extreme situation. And Jana, what is your view on that? In your work, did you have to modify the way you approach children with non-conflict zones and war zone? Here, in this case, Ukrainian children. What efforts did you have to take to become a normal adult in war time?
Oh, what a question! Wow. I would say it's a big challenge. I think for all of us adults, that we feel responsible for the children, not only because they will build the future, but because they are the most vulnerable ones. So we, the adults, we are responsible, yes? So I think that we all need to take this responsibility and do our best. And we, as Save the Children, we work like in more than 100 countries in the world, so we do have a lot of different experiences and expertise in the organization. But of course, with all our programs, we always adapt to the situation, and in this case, we do have our programs in Ukraine, and I've just learned that our Save the Children Ukrainian office supports your organization. But I'm working here in Poland, so we work with the children who came from Ukraine to Poland. And I worked also in the first days of war at the border itself, volunteering there. So I saw those lines, those children, and with mothers mainly. And I saw them in the state of being frozen, I would say. I was shocked by the this atmosphere of silence, you know, of being like, we are on hold, yes? We don't know what will happen, but we hope we'll return. And now they are still here. Most of them are still here. And we try to work with the children to first to provide a sense of safety. So we all know that in order to work and in order to process emotions and to work therapeutically, we need to feel safe. So this is the first layer, I would say. And next, we have psychosocial programs that provide structured support. This is, I think, similar to what you have been talking about. And we implement mainly two programs here in Poland. One is called Team Up, and it is implemented throughout the world in many different countries and conflict zones. And this program is about organizing structured activities with movement, relaxation, and with the element of processing emotion. And we do have different games that are dedicated to different issues, I would say. So when the facilitator sees that there is I don't know, low mood or depressive mood, or the children are bullying each other, he can choose activities that supports the children to process it. So it has a very strict components. So we do have trusted adult, yes, two of them, because we always have two facilitators. We have rhythm, so the children know that it will come at this very day and this very hour and this very specific person who they can trust. And also the activities are designed in a way that they can be the children again. So this is what basically we're aiming to process their traumas, feelings, emotions, in order they can regain this sense of normalcy, sense of routines, the sense of safety, and they can communicate and build communities. Yes, so this is the aim. We have also another program which is based on art activities, so heart healing and education through the arts. And there is also this component of creativity, but also mindfulness, relaxation, and so on. So each session, and this is also important, has structure, because the children, to feel safe, they need to feel that there is a structure, there is a trusted adult who planned something for them, and it is being delivered. So, and there is another component in those activities which is really important, that the facilitators are trained to see whether there are problems, issues that we need to address, that we need to refer to specialized services. Yes, so they see, they are trained to see the symptoms that need to be picked up and need to have a follow-up. We also worked with youth, we'll work with youth, with adolescents. In one of our programs, we designed a Future Skills Academy. So we will work with almost more than 20 libraries here in Poland. And we will train facilitators in libraries, because they are in the communities, yes? The people are coming there to use different services, and there are groups of children there. So we will train them to work with the children on their own projects, to give them back, this sense of I can do by myself. I can have a project. I don't know. They will also design the spaces in the libraries. So they will create their own space in which they will learn. They will learn like life skills. So they will learn about communication, empathy, project management, and things like that, to create their own projects. So we want to give them back this sprawczość,
give them back also
agency. Yes, thank you very much.
Taken away from them, right?
Yeah. So I think this is a healing factor as well, and of course here in Poland we are working mainly through partners, so Polish NGOs, and we are also providing trainings on first psychological help. So we are teaching teachers, but also facilitators how to support children without being a professional. Yes, so every human has this ability, but it needs to be trained and needs to have to be skilled. So yeah, and also we want to work with children to capacitate them in giving a peer-to-peer support. So also we have a program it's called I Support My Friends. So we want to teach them how to support themselves, basically. So this is more the work on regaining normalcy than addressing very complex issues. Yes, because with those issues, we are not able to address them all, and we have here the system here in Poland. So basically we are referring. But in some of the cases, because we also work in some alternative care centers, so children's homes that were moved to Poland. So there we have more complex cases. Also the children who came with previous neglect, I would say. So there we are trying to, we work through caseworkers who are analyzing individual situation of the children and referring them, and also supporting with individual psychological support. So I think this work is focused on rebuilding, rebuilding the normalcy, but and also integrating what was, taken into pieces, yeah, what was broken, yeah. So that is how we are trying to build this resilience and, and integration.
Thank you very much. Ms. Jakub, you brought a film to us, and you want to show us a very short film. Yes. About your visit to Ukraine, and having seen this short film, I would like you to comment on how about your view, about your ideas about how to help children once the war ends. Who will they be? What programs to deliver to them when all these terrible things end?
Yes, before I say a few words about the programs that sure. We are now engaged with and we are organizing. First of all, I would like to thank you, Pritan, for this movie. For myself, we want to become this part of this revolution. Absolutely, it's a very touching movie. It's a very good movie showing the real atmosphere, the real life, daily life in Ukraine these days. Starting from the beginning, our foundation, We Give Wings Foundation, was founded, was started in 2017, thanks to the big generosity of one person, Cesar Lipka. Was a person that came here with Polish roots. He came here from Switzerland to Poland. He established at that time a big group. It's called Superdrop, and then he decided to share. He felt a corporate social responsibility, and thanks to people like my wife and her activities, this foundation started to make good. Started a good program. Started to help people in need. Started to help kids in the difficult situations, mainly in Poland, of course, at the time. The foundation was running programs for kids going to see the Polish seaside, sometimes first time in their lives. They had a chance to go to the sea, or go to the camp, or go to the zoo to see.
Did you incorporate your experiences with Polish children to Ukrainian children?
Yes, that's what I want to come to the point, because this movie that we saw here, the trailer, it shows that all the situation is very unfair. I mean, each of us, we have a certain role in the society, yes, and kids have a role to play. Kids have a role to be safe, to have time for games, to have time for sugar floss, to have time for batute. That's the name I know from our kids that we took from home with my wife to our flat. So last year, when we saw the first TV news from Ukraine, we all felt it's really something bad going on in Ukraine, and we all felt the call to action that we cannot only watch. We must act. We must do something. It's the responsibility of all of us. It's not the responsibility for all the bad things that happen to kids. Of course, it's the responsibility of one man's decision that we all know. But it's our responsibility to help the kids in this situation. Of course, the ABC that you mentioned, it's related not only to kids, because the war of the trauma war, it's related also to adult people, but the children are most vulnerable parts of the society in this situation, and as well as we saw in the trailer in the beginning. So yeah, we immediately. Polish people, maybe not all of you know very well, but Polish society, we understand very well what the full-scale invasion of Russians mean. Probably for those of you who know a bit of history, as well as full-scale invasion of Germans mean from almost 100 years ago. So we all felt that we need to support victims. We need to help victims of war, of the situation. That's why the whole world saw the floods of people coming. Like, I think for 7 million of people, mothers and children mainly, they were running away, escaping from the bombs coming on their houses. They came to Poland, and there were no camps for the refugees. They were all taken. All those people were taken under Polish homes. So I was so proud of Polish society and Polish people and Polish government who was organizing all those processes. So I'm really glad for all this what we did at that time, and I wish Mr. Zelensky would all his life remember what we did. Poland was first to help. Poland and the United States was first to help, and In our foundation, immediately, it was, war is not based on the budgets, on the foundation budgets, but the movement to help was so big that starting from March 2022, actually we had we made so many projects, over 20 projects targeted to help Ukrainian people. We took 15 people to our small flat, 54 meters flat in Warsaw. We only in Kharkiv we helped about 600 or 700 people to find a place for them. We were renovating flats free of charge to let people stay and spend a good time, find a safe place where they can stay, where they can sleep without the bomb alarms and so on. By the way, the bomb alarms, for those who cannot understand how kids perceive the war, we took mother and 9-year-old Vladimir and 6-year-old Margarita from home, and then their mother Lena. We took them. We went there with my wife, and we live in Warsaw near Centrum Zdrowia Dziecka. It's a center for health it's a hospital center for children's health. So there are ambulances passing by from time to time. So we were all so shocked when Vlad, when he was hearing the sirens of ambulance, he started to cry. He started to cry so deeply. We all didn't know what happened. We didn't realize that his connotation were the bomb sirens from war. Actually, what I wanted to say, all the programs that we started out of nowhere, out of the blue sky, because of war, because we needed to help all those people. They like doubled our budget in terms of the financial needs, but there were also other organizations that started to help us for this. Only from one UK organization we got like £50,000 just like that, because they also felt they need to help. They saw we have a good let's say foundation ratio. We have like 95 or over 95%.
How did you decide to channel the help? How did you decide to organize the help? What were the main goals? Was it just a provision of food, or maybe shelter, or other actions?
All needs. We tried to satisfy all the needs that we were noticing. These were also flats that we renovated with organizing help to renovate flats. These were also tons of food that we provided either to Polish organizations supporting refugees, as well as about 60 or 70 tons of food that we were transferring through the Lublin voivodeship and marshal of Lublin directly to Ukraine. We were organizing power generators. We do other stuff as well. Apart, what is important that with the months of war, the needs are changing, the situation is changing. So the help and the projects are transforming in our organization as well. So after the new year, we noticed that more power generators, because of power being cut off in Ukraine, occurred. So the people, soldiers, civilian people, and others, they need power generators. So we organized it. And in March this year, we went with a humanitarian convoy by ourselves to see the situation there in place in Ukraine. Part of the convoy went to eastern part, even to Bucha, but today I would like to ask to I would like to show you the part of the movie related to one of the schools in Novigrad Wołyński that we know through this Lena that came to us with her kids. So we went there, we saw a bomb shelter for kids, and it was such a frightening experience for us that we realized what's the atmosphere they live in, what are the feelings they have, what is the situation of the kids on site. And now I would like to invite you for the 3 minutes so we can see this movie for a moment.
You can start right now. Thank you. We can stop at this point. Thank you very much.
Yes. It gives a little feeling of what we saw and of what's the world of children of schools there they live in. And after visiting this school, we established a relation with the school director, and now these days by the middle of December there will be a playground in this particular school built with our support, with our organizational and financial help for the children from this particular school. But this is not everything. We thanks to this visit in Ukraine, organized by Government Strategic Reserves Agency, we also established a connection with the local foundations, with local organizations. Two of them are Weeks for Families organization and Congregate of Angel Sisters. I think this is the English translation. So the several projects are mainly targeted towards kids. They visit rural areas and small villages in Żytomierska Oblast, Chmielnicki, Winnica, and they try to give good time for the kids. We want to focus in those programs on 3 groups of children. One group is related to the refugees from eastern parts of Ukraine coming with usually mothers, because fathers are fighting in war. Second group is these are orphaned or partially orphaned childs that lost one or two parents in the bomb attacks. And the third group of children are those in difficult situations, from families in difficult situations, like because of different nature, like alcoholism or multi-children families in difficult. There are problems with work, so the economic situation is not very well. We all know that. The target, the purposes of those programs will be, for example, to make a holiday during Saturday time, to invite kids from those groups. The programs are supported by local authorities and local school, just to identify those children that are in need. There will be time for, especially dedicated for kids. The sisters, they have a 3-meter panda toy, and the one person is going inside and they play with kids. So they will also take care of the kids with having anniversaries, having birthday, just to give them the birthday cake, to give them presents, to support also with the packages of daily goods, their parents, to give the candies or other small gifts to friends that are coming to those holidays. Also, they plan to arrange a local touring cinema, going from village to village to present movies for kids. The best positive opinion was one of the mothers that she saw her son smiling for the first time since a very long time. The target of the programs is to open children, because all those bad events, all those bad situations they saw, they experienced, they are basically closing them. It's closing them inside, it's closing their emotions. So the purpose for them is to give them sugar floss, to give them popcorn during the movie, is to give them big batuty, so they can jump, they can feel joy of life, they can forget for the moment about atrocities of war that they experience. So this is our main target, and once again, using this opportunity, I would like to thank our team for their huge work and support. I would like to thank Renata, Kasia, Paulina, and now Aneta is joining our team as well. So I hope we'll make a lot of good things. Also thanks to the sponsors that are always very welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Sponsors are always very welcome, of course. Before we ask a question, before we let audience talk, I would like you to ask you the last final questions about long-term effects of trauma. What actions should be taken in place to ensure support for children as they develop? Some of them started their development during the time of war. Some of them experience war as adolescents. They will all be adults in the future. What more can be done to help them tackle the evil? I understand that what you do is the introduction of goodness in the evil times, but how to help them tackle the evil in the future? So what else can we do? Olena, can you start?
Okay, thank you. It's a very good question. Every time when I have like the same questions, some like in different interview, every time I said that, like maybe the same things, that we need to find the best cases from each of other charities, find the one way that we can spread for like whole country. Because now we do very great job, but we cover just one pieces from whole this country, and how to we need to share it more, and how to cover all this millions of kids that stay now in Ukraine. From my thing that we need to find this maybe one working group, very strong working group, create some program and go to the Ministry of Education and educate our teachers, tutors from kindergarten, because they connect with kids every day in the local place. In Mykolaiv region, from different regions, where the kids stay in the war zone. They are local refugees or something, but they communicate with kids every day. That's why we need to share this experience, share this everything that we have in the best one. Yeah, we can support, but we couldn't be 24/7 and the same place with one kid. And we can create something. We can find the best decision and implement it, but we need to collaborate with government, collaborate with local authorities, and to share this experience to the bigger region area.
Do you also agree that the evil is doing good when the good is dispersed?
Yeah, I agree. Yes, I would say that we need to focus on scalable interventions. You tackled it very well, but before that we need to see which type of intervention is needed in that very specific case, because we will have children who need psychosocial support, games, playing, and so on. We will have children who will need more specialized psychosocial support, like structured activities with an adult who is trained, who sees the symptoms, who is aware of what's under the surface. Yes, we will see individual support, so more specialized, and at the end we will need psychiatrists, yes, and medication and hospitals and so on. Yes, so we need to see this pyramid in our INGO world. We have this MHPSS pyramid of interventions. So at the bottom we have safety, basic needs. After that we have all those psychosocial programs, and in the end we have specialists. Yes, so if we invest in those psychosocial programs and so on, but bearing in mind that we have also the cases that would require a specialist support. So I think we need to be aware of different layers of the complexity of the problem, and tackle and address the needs on those very layers. Yes, and I think that here with this big movement of support for Ukraine, including international NGOs, it would be really good to use this experience, the experiences of, Save the Children, WHO, and different agencies who really act, in the world, who experienced a lot and who worked those evidence-based, structured interventions that are scalable. Yeah, so this is something that may need. And one point, which I think is very important. Because somebody have said about victims. I think it would be very important not to see in those children only the victims. To work on their resources, to see that they are powerful somehow, yeah? And really to see the strength and to invest in this strength, yes? Because if we look at them only as traumatized, we risk to re-traumatize them, yeah? So it would be my point.
I don't know if you wanna, I just wanna add something very shortly, because often in Ukraine and in our foundation and at the global level, we said that we can be sure that every one of the children and of us who live in Ukraine now or in abroad can be traumatized, because trauma is not about everyone. And I think what we can do now, and now we can we can do in the future who will be traumatized and who won't. So what we can do now is creating the new reality that you mentioned. Yes, we have only this reality now, so we can stop the war, but we can stopping the childhood. Yes, we can continue the childhood of children. We be more concentrating on making them strong and be with them like an adult, like a safe adult, be with them and at this road. So maybe I think it will be it will have the new resources in the future. That's what I want to add.
That's a very interesting input. Jakub, do you think that being victim, that children are not only victims of war, but also children who should not be perceived as victims of war?
No, of course. We have to find a way to help them and support them, but of course we cannot treat them as victims for the whole life. We have to just give them a hand, give them wings to go through life in a as normal way as possible in those circumstances. One of the programs that really is targeted to the field that you just mentioned is a program for therapists. The groups of people are coming to Poland, to Konstantin, and they take part in a several-month training with a basis of psychology, for psychiatrists, psychologists, and people that will support in helping those children. The program is run by Sister Teresa from Ukraine. And sister, not by mistake, because I think we all feel that it's what is going on in Ukraine is also of spiritual nature, with the evil, as you mentioned. So we all need spiritual support of good powers as well. Yes.
I think that spiritual support and superpowers are also very important. They give meaning to life, and they let control go, let go of control. Pritan, maybe it's a good Ambroase, sorry. Maybe it's a good idea that maybe your next film would be about children who are not victims of war in times of war. I'm thinking about what you said, Jan, about not victims. If we keep perceiving children as victims, we can re-traumatize them. If we perceive ourselves as those who deliver help to victims, we will always be the saviors. Maybe we don't need to be saviors all the time. Maybe we can just be good adults. What do you think about that?
See, I think my film, the right impression of the revolution that I'm a part of, that we have begun, and my colleagues here are all excellent revolutionaries in their own right. The children in my film are not victims. If you watch the end credits, when the film comes out, I made sure that I marked them as the children heroes who gave their voice to speak out against terrorism while still living under war conditions. These are not victims. It is highly, highly, highly important. When you watch the film, you will see that. From day one, I told my team in Ukraine, in America, in England, in Poland, in France, that this is not going to be a film about victimization. Because re-traumatization is one of the most dangerous things you can do to kids. So in the end credits, you will see, these are my heroes. They actually saved me in many ways. So,
despite the fact I'm hoping that you'll make another film.
Oh yeah, it's not a documentary.
Okay. Now I'd like to give voice to the audience. We have about 10 minutes left. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them right now. The staff will help you with the microphone. Maybe there are some issues, some authority questions.
Maybe while we'll wait for someone, I just remember one phrase of our children. During the shooting the film, the one girl was walking with me, like carrying something big, I don't know. And in one moment she said that, thank you for being such adult, that we can be just children. So I think I just want to leave the thought that children in Ukraine and children in all about the world, it's just children. It's not the victims, and sometimes they even not a hero. They want to be a hero all the time because you need to take all the world up to your shoulders. So sometimes they just want to be children near to someone adult and safe. So I just want to leave this thought and remember it.
Thank you very much. Maybe I have some comments about our debate here. Sometimes commentators, those who observe us, have wonderful ideas, breakthrough ideas, which can be introduced or enhanced by others or by yourselves. Maybe someone would like to add something to our discussion.
Maybe until we have a volunteer question, another question. I would like to share one thought when Pritan was telling us about heroes. It came to my mind the society of Warsaw from the time of the Second World War. I don't know how many of you saw photos or movies from the Warsaw city after the bombarding in 44 and 45. Can you raise hands? Does it remind you something? Does it remind you the photos or movies from Mariupol that we all saw lately? That the whole city was leveled down in the Warsaw. The hectares of the surface of the city was literally leveled down. So I think it gives us the right perspective that the heroes are there, and in Poland and in Ukraine we could raise the city back. You can see today, and this is the target that we have now, yes, to survive and to build up again.
Always that gives hope for the future, whether we can always rebuild ourselves, no matter how terrible, what atrocities happen to us. There is always a chance for restart, for better future. Would any one of you would like to add something or to conclude this discussion?
I think since all of you are sitting here, again, I think Poland has played an instrumental part in this rescue of humanity, as I like calling it. So thank you for that. Number two, do not fall for whatever is happening in the politics at the moment. It is a responsibility of each and every one of you to make sure that we don't fall for politics, whether it be in Poland, in America, in Germany, wherever it is. The political stock market, like I like to call it, should not affect the livelihood and the lives of children who have nothing to do with it.
So let me conclude our meeting with just one phrase: let children be children, no matter what adults construct for them. And let us crystallize their lives as happy and as childlike as possible. Thank you very much for your participation. I want to thank the audience for your participation, and well, I think it's time for a break.